Well, g'day everybody. Welcome to the first Ocean Globe Race live for a long time. I think we've only done one before, and this is going to become a bit of a regular thing. Every 2 weeks, we'll bring an entrant in the OGR online, and we'll have a chat, and you can work out a bit about who they are and why they're doing it, and what their plans are, and so on. Anyway, for now, what I can tell you to give you a bit of an update is that, firstly, we're kind of lucky. We're lucky in the sense that the pandemic isn't really affecting us too much right now because the start of the race is not until over 3 years away, and that's kind of cool. But nonetheless, we made a decision as soon as the pandemic started to get serious to wind everything down a little bit and just tread carefully with OGR, because it was a sad time for many and it was a bit chaotic and business was scattered everywhere, and the ports we were talking to were all very, what we say, absorbed in other issues. So anyway, we've been pretty quiet, but it's now coming back online. In the next couple of weeks, you'll see the first press release in some time for OGR, and we'll slowly start ramping it up. As far as the entrants are concerned for the race, the pandemic hit a couple of our adventure class entrants. So whereas we did have 10, we're actually now at 8. Okay, so we've only got 8 entrants in the adventure class, which is kind of funny because that's what we always tried to achieve. But as you know, we extended it a bit. So anyway, so we've got 8 in adventure class. For sailor class, we've actually got 9 because we lost a couple of the adventure class boats, and we have a bit of pressure. We've still got a lot of people looking to enter the OGR, and so we decided to accept 9 entrants there. There's 1 extra, and we've got some people on the side. People are hesitating getting on the wait list, which is understandable, so we'll see how that pans out. In the flyer class, we've actually got 5. And in the classic challenge, it's all very healthy. We're talking to quite a lot of teams about lots of different issues, about sales and about the course, all sorts of stuff. So it's looking pretty good, both in Whitbread 60s, Volvo 60s, and also maybe even a couple of maxis. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Our plans have been set back on a couple of things. First of all, well, actually, this is our sponsor brochure. Sponsor brochures and sponsors, we've gone quiet. We decided to drop the issue because of the pandemic, and we'll start it up again at the end of September. Europe goes into holidays during August if something works there for a change. So we'll address the issue of sponsors and so on once they get back from holidays. That's our host port brochure. We had some pretty intense discussions going with some of our host ports projecting into the future, and most of them we tried to shut down. A couple we couldn't. Anyway, we'll pick up on that again in September as well. But what it means is we had been saying we're going to announce the course in September, late this year, September, October, as well as launch the new website. Now, all of that now will be put back probably to early next year, maybe February of next year. But there's some good things going on, and we're quite happy about that. So that's all going good. The other one is the notice of race. That's still on track, so that'll be issued officially on September the 10th, with a few more additions. Technology is the big one. There's a lot of changes going on with communications and what we can and the hardware that we use and so on. So stand by for that. But anyway, that'll be in September. So the new website, as you know, the site that's there now for Ocean Globe, it's an information site. It's packed with stuff that everyone wants to know, asking questions and so on. It's not hugely entertaining. It's not meant to be. But when the official Ocean Globe Race website is launched, that's when it starts to get a bit more serious. And we've got to keep reminding ourselves we're actually 3 years out, but there's still a huge amount of interest there. And we've only actually ever issued still, I think, 2, maybe 3 press releases about the race. There's still a lot of people that don't know about it, and we've still got serious issues with trying to cope with inquiry in principle. So there's no doubt we've got quite a few people want to go. One thing I should say, we have literally hundreds and hundreds of crew all looking for a spot in the OGR. Now, we don't actually place crew. That's the reality. If you're really trying to get there, there is the Interested Entrants Facebook page, and that's all about just grouping them together. Later on, when things get closer, there are some boats that will be looking for general crew, and you can throw your hat in the ring. They'll advertise it there. Most of the guys, a lot of the guys have got their own family, friends, hot racing guys, whatever. They're forming their own ideas, but it's still worthwhile if you're interested in being involved to get onto that interest one. But as I say, we don't place you, but it's a good place to be, and later on it may come in handy. Anyway, that's a quick rundown. So for now, I'm just going to bring Gerrit up here. So Gerrit from Allspice Yachting in South Africa. G'day, Gerrit. How are you?
Right. I'm fine. Yourself?
That's good. Good to chat. So first of all, tell me where you are and what you're up to right now with the pandemic and all that sort of stuff.
Well, at the moment, I'm sitting at my house in Cape Town, and yeah, it's a sunny day. I'm just working on my PhD most of the time, so I'm still waiting
No sailing.
for most of the restrictions to pick up, and then hopefully we'll start sailing again soon.
Okay, give us an overview. You've got Allspice Yachting. You've got your own charter catamaran. Just give us a 1 minute overview of where you're placed in terms of sailing and the OGR and so on, so people can get the feel. And then I'll delve into your background and history and so on.
Okay, so Allspice Yachting is a charter company that I manage. It's about 3 or 4 years old now. It's a company I started with my father, Robbie, and a good friend, Mark Wannenberg, who's our skipper. And we do local charters around the Cape of Good Hope. We focus mainly on adventure charters, so anything longer than 24 hours. We do day trips and things like that as well, but we always try to engage with clients for a couple of days, sailing around the Cape of Good Hope and so on. And then we also do adventures on the high seas. So we've done a race to St. Helena Island from Cape Town. In January, we did the Cape to Rio race. We've sailed to Tristan da Cunha Inaccessible Island twice. We've sailed with Greenpeace Deutschland to Vima Seamount, and done a couple of documentaries on great whites and so on. And so we try to engage with research groups, marine research groups. We do adventures on the high seas, and we do local charters around Cape Town. We're
I think I
basically
need.
doing anything that can
I think I
happen on
need
a
to be
boat.
there. I need to be there. It sounds like too much fun. Okay, so
No, it's great.
so um, so what got you into sailing? Where did it all begin? Like how did that all evolve?
Well, I started sailing with my father more than 10 years ago, and we primarily sail around the Cape of Good Hope. So my introduction to sailing was cold, wet, extremely windy, and high swells.
Yeah,
And
you're a bit like our
and so
part of the
that's
world. Yeah, South
yeah,
Australia and all that. You're in the Southern Ocean, so you obviously
yeah.
know what it's all about. Yeah.
So that's where I started sailing, and I was sailing on this catamaran for a couple of years. I met Mark, and that's how we started Allspice.
Okay. Okay. And what about your I was going to say your home life, but you married, family, or whatever? Like
No, I live in Cape Town with my partner and a cat.
that's okay. That's cool. And
It's
what about your
fairly
profession? Like
relaxed.
you're studying, like you're studying to do your honors in what?
No, I'm actually busy with my PhD at the moment, which I'll finish
PhD.
in October. And so I've been doing my PhD in Allspice Yachting in parallel the last couple of years. Um, so
Okay. And so, what triggered you into the idea of getting involved with the Ocean Globe Race?
Well, the Ocean Globe Race is really just a logical progression of everything we've done so far. And I really like the idea of sailing without technology. And sailing around the world is definitely on my to do list. And another thing was timing. Pre pandemic, everything just seemed like it lined up well. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but now there's a few challenges. So you don't have a boat for the race yet. So just give me an overview of your
Yeah.
plans, like what you see as the next couple of years. What's how you get into it.
Yeah, so in 2020, we started talking to sponsors, but like everything else, that kind of paused for a little while. We'll pick that up in the next 2 or 3 months. And then in December, we have another Atlantic race going to St. Helena Island. We'll try to go to Tristan, come back. And then we've actually put our catamaran on the market, mainly because we want to focus on the Ocean Globe. So we'll still be doing everything we're doing in Cape Town, hopefully just on a swan or something for the ocean globe so that we can start preparing the boat, hopefully
Yeah.
sometime next year, and then start doing as many Atlantic crossings as possible.
Okay. And so have you got a target sort of plan, like in terms of what sort of boat you think you might get into?
I've been doing research quite a lot about any boats that might fit the adventure class, mainly Swans, Nicholsons, Baltics. The last 2 days, I've been looking a lot at the Kaufmans, which I think might work, but you don't really find them. So I think at the end of the day, we'll possibly go for Swan 48, something between 48 and 55 feet. Personally, I like the
Yeah.
Stockman Stevens designs a lot more. So I don't know. We'll see where we end up.
Yeah. And what about the idea of your team and crewing and things like that? What's the philosophy there? You're going to have how's that work? Who's on your team now?
At the moment on the team, it's myself, our skipper Mark Wannenberg, and one of our first mates, Wesley Bowers. He seems very interested. And then we don't have any other crew besides them. We'll see how it goes. At the moment, we are kind of keeping everything open to stay flexible with our discussions with sponsors. So I'm sure we'll figure it out over the next 12 months or so.
Yeah. It's a good idea to have a small team, like already. So
Yeah.
that's cool. I asked you to send a couple of photos in, and you put so I can put it on the screen. There's one here of a maxi out the front of Cape Town. What's the story there? Because that's a monohull.
So,
Monohulls are meant to be in the Southern Ocean, by the way, not
yeah,
multi-hulls.
well, that one is definitely supposed to be in the Southern Ocean. That boat is called Voortrekker 2. It was a boat that our skipper Mark sailed in the not the previous Cape Toria, the one before that, and they unfortunately lost the boat 3 or 4 days into the race, and they
What
were picked
happened?
up by a container ship. I think the rudder failed, and it was starting to punch a hole into the hull, so they were taking on
Oh, right.
water, and then they abandoned ship. They were picked up by a container ship and taken to Rio. So after this ordeal, I met Mark in a coffee shop in Cape Town, and that's kind of where Allspice started. So that's our
Okay.
origin is related to that boat.
So
So
this must be Mark. So
yeah,
he
that's
lost that
Mark.
boat, and you're going to let him on your boat or your team boat?
Sorry.
That was a sad story, losing the boat. But I guess he'll be talking
Yeah.
about that all the way around the world.
Well, maybe I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think the real relevance of that boat was sailed by John Martin and Bertie Reed, both very famous South African sailors.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
know.
sure Fruit 2 was in the
I knew
DOC
both of them
challenge as
very.
well.
I knew both of those guys very well, and I hear Jean Martin's
Yeah.
still around the traps there. I'll probably catch him later on. Birdie, I knew a lot with the original Vortrekker, and then the other BOC
Yeah.
races as well. And John had a story to tell as well, losing his boat
Yeah.
with the rudders and the ice. It's an amazing story.
Yeah. So it's all part of South African sailing heritage.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to throw a couple of wild cards at you now and try and work out who you are. I'm going to give you some
Yeah.
word associations, but just tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I give you some words. Okay, it doesn't have to be complicated. Life,
Okay. Life. Adventure.
um, albatross,
Southern Ocean.
sponsors,
Uh, necessary. Hopefully, good relationships.
whale,
Exciting.
winner,
Arbitrary.
impossible,
Not so much.
fear,
All part of it.
adventure,
Necessary.
sextant.
Mm, I'm not sure. Old school.
Old school. Drogue.
Avoid it if you can, but have it on board in case you must.
Dreams.
Inevitable.
Inevitable. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Okay. Look, I've got a list of questions here as well. And all you
Okay.
got to do is pick a number. and that'll tell me what question to answer. Okay, what question to give you. So pick a number between 1 and 10.
5.
5. How did you meet your best friend?
I'm not sure. Either in the mountains or on the beach or something. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Pick 10 to 20.
13.
13. What inspires you the most and why?
Nature inspires me the most. Mainly because that's the only place I can feel like I can relax.
Yeah, okay. 20 to 30.
27.
27. Should we take life seriously?
Sometimes, but not always.
Why?
I don't know. It depends on what the situation needs.
Yeah, okay. So
Situational
30 to
dependent. Yeah.
30 to 40.
33.
33. Did your parents do a good job raising you? Whoops. Is that a
I
technical
believe so.
problem there? You think so? That's good. They
Yeah, I
must be
think so.
watching.
Possibly.
Okay,
I'll probably
so
watch later.
yeah, 40 to 47.
47.
47. What's the most courageous thing you've ever done?
The most courageous.
Yeah.
I don't know. That depends on different aspects of life. I think walking in some streets in Cape Town can be considered courageous. Sailing in bad weather can also be considered courageous. I
Yeah.
don't know. There are lots of things.
Okay. Yeah, too true. Okay, this time pick a letter between A and N.
C.
C. What do you think of garden gnomes?
Garden gnomes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they're a bit superfluous, if that's the word.
Okay. I took one to Antarctica once. That was a bit weird. Anyway, that's
Okay.
cool. All
No,
right.
that's not
So,
weird. Some people sell with teddy bears. Teddy bears. Other people take garden gnomes to Antarctica. It's completely normal.
yeah, I took a lot of teddy bears too, but the garden gnome got knocked off. One of my crew was an ex-SAS guy, and he went and knocked it off and didn't tell me. Put it in the flare container on the boat,
Yeah.
put the flares in a bag at the end of his bunk. And anyway, long story for later. Okay, so tell me, what do you think? Except, obviously, it's a challenge to get to the start line, but let's assume you're at the start line and you're going around. What's going to be your biggest challenge, you think?
The biggest challenge isn't going around.
Yeah,
I
once you assume you're
think
sailing now, and you got to get through this. What's going to be your biggest challenge?
I would say navigation, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a challenge. You just sail south until you hit Cape Town. So I would say weather, just managing weather, trying to anticipate what the weather is going to do, and to make the correct decisions based on that.
Yeah. So what's your role? You say you've got a skipper. What's your role on the boat within your team? What's the plan there?
Well, I don't know what my position on the boat will be yet. I think I'll figure that out as we start sailing on the boat and start figuring things out. But generally, in the campaign, I consider myself the main instigator, campaign manager, person trying to get things going and hopefully, definitely get us to the start line. So,
Yeah.
I think we're a very dynamic and flexible team. So we'll figure it out as we go along, but we'll know what our positions are by the time we start the race.
Okay. And so let's assume you get a 50-footer, 52-footer. What do you reckon the crew makeup will be? How many crew do you think you'll have on board?
I think 7 is a good number. I think take too many people could be um, crowded on the boat. I think if you have 6 or 7 really good sailors, then you've got a good team.
Yeah. And have you got an idea, and you don't have to answer this, but have you got an idea of what you think your budget might be, like what you're planning as an overall budget? Buy the boat, refit, get in the race?
No idea. I have absolutely no idea. I think, well, we do have some idea of what we're aiming for, but I guess that's discussions we'll have with our sponsor once we get there. So I think that touches as well on our crew, depending on how much money we can raise over the next 12 months, we might start selling positions on board to crew. And we're also in a discussion about possible um, documentary film, about a possible documentary film we want to make. And so we are exploring all avenues of fundraising to see if we can get some money for the
Yeah.
race.
That's exactly what I'd say too. It's interesting with all these things. I'm always fascinated on what people think, but I know for me, if you're going to do it, you do it, and I don't worry about the budget. You just got to
Yeah.
find it. You
Yeah.
can alter your
I think,
standards as you go, but
yeah, exactly. If you're not flexible, you're not going to make it. You have to stay
absolutely,
as
yeah,
flexible as possible. So
yeah,
if we get a boat that's the right dimensions, but there's no interior and our budget allows for it, we'll put in a couple of pipe cards and go.
yeah.
And if we get a good international sponsor, we'll buy a Swan 55 and do a really nice
Oh,
campaign.
okay. On those poignant notes,
Mm.
155. I might just pull our next guy up because that's exactly what he's got. So Alan is going to pop up in 2 seconds. G'day, Alan. How are you?
Hi, Don. Hi, Jared. How you doing?
Yeah, good to see you. So, Alan, you've got a Swan 55. Fancy that.
I do. I was just thinking of selling it to Jarrett, actually, at a profit. Yeah, and then just saving myself the turmoil of having to sail around the world. So, yeah.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had a bit of a laugh before we got on live here, so we all sort of know each other. But anyway, but I've got to say, this 55 is a beautiful boat, and in fact, the lead-in video at the opening, that was Tapio on Galliana. His Swan 55 catch, beautiful boat. I think you picked one of the better ones, Alan. They're a nice boat. So,
Well,
anyway,
the interesting thing is, I looked at Galliana and I thought, do I really want this one or do I want the other one? So I'm really pleased that Tapio's got it. So there'll be a bit of competition there, I think.
well, without going into it in too much detail, so am I, because I got to tell you, I was drooling over that boat for 2 months before I told Tapio. I told him about it while he was still doing the GGR, and I said, Tapio, I've given up because I thought I could organise the race and put in an entry, not sail on it, I'd put people on it. And he went over and grabbed it as soon as the race was over. He was the first one to buy a boat and enter the race. Anyway, but yeah, nice boats. So, Alan, you're on next in 2 weeks. So this is just a bit of an intro. I don't want to delve too much, but just give me a quick 1-minute synopsis of what you're doing. I know you've got a great boat. You're mucked up by the virus.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm stuck in near my hometown in Buckinghamshire in England by the River Thames, which is there's no sailing going on. So I kind of got stuck here. So, prepared to go off after we came back from the Azores at the end of January. And when I saw you at Dusseldorf, and we were planning on sailing back to the UK, Cowes.
Yeah.
And then a circumnav of the UK, and then carry on from there. And we've been locked down. So,
it's amazing,
every plan we've made, we get stopped. So we were planning on sailing to the Azores next week and carrying on, but then there's no air bridge between here and Portugal. So crew have pulled out because they're afraid to do the 2-week quarantine. So it's so we're going to go down and. Carry on doing. We're going down to Portugal, where the boat's based at the moment, next Sunday, 2 crew, and do a little bit more work. She's had a lot of work going on over the last 6 months, so which is quite good that's been able to carry on. And then hopefully we'll get out to the Azores in September, and then follow around to Madeira, Cape Verdes, and then down to Rio. And then hopefully the carnival will be on. Yeah, well, we might stay socially distanced from the carnival, and then down to see Jared down in Cape Town at the end of February next year, which would be fantastic.
Okay, well, now you've told us everything. You don't have to come on in 2 weeks. We know it all. You can go now. Bugger off. Yeah, didn't it all come crashing down? I mean, Boot Dusseldorf was really quite good, and for anyone that's listening or watching this, looks like we are going to be in Boot in January, as long as they hold it, because I just see they just cancelled in fact, this is a typically British comment. I don't want to sort of, I like Britain, but they postponed the Southampton boat show until next year. They didn't cancel it. They postponed the Southampton Boat Show till 2021. I thought that was pretty cool. So sad that they had to postpone it, but it was really cancelled, But anyway, I didn't say that, So everything completely.
I figured that postponement just means a way to not give you any money back. So that always seems to be, that's, as I found out, yes. Well, I won't mention about Cows Week, but they were very keen that we didn't give our money, that they hung on to our money as opposed to gave it back. So until next year.
Well, Gerrit, we're very excited when we saw your entry come in because it's Cape Town, South Africa, and so on, and we've had some preliminary discussions with Cape Town, so it's highly likely we will be stopping there. Nothing's guaranteed. We can't say anything, but hopefully that'll help your bid. So what that must have had a bearing on your decision to do the race as well, eh?
Not really, not that much. I think if the race would sell to Rio and go from Rio to Sydney, we would still do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
it doesn't make that big of a difference.
Yeah. Hopefully, though, it'll work out. We really we will work towards announcing the course. Early next year, first quarter next year, we'll be there. We sort of pretty much know what it is now, but we've got a few things to sort out still, and we've still got some ports that are very keen to sort of put in a proposal, make a bid. So we'll work that through for the rest of this year, and then it'll come out. So. Okay, Gerrit. So what's going to be the happiest time of the race? What's the most fun aspect for you to do the race? Like, give me another emotion about the OGR.
Well, I think one of the best parts of the race would just be about meeting like-minded people on various boards. So the great thing about the OGR compared to the Golden Globe is you stop and you can chat to people and have a good time before you set off again. And I think that it'll add a completely new dimension to this race compared to the Golden Globe race.
Yeah, they're different animals. They're similar, but they're completely different. And I agree entirely. I mean, we knew the Ocean Globe race would happen before we even announced the Golden Globe, but we wanted to get that one through and established, and that's worked out fine. But it's a different animal. And Tapio gave me the classic scenario. We hadn't mentioned anything about the Ocean Globe race, but as he was approaching Cape Horn, he was going very slow, and he always kept reminiscing about the Whitbread race, and he said, GGR is great, but the Whitbread was even better because he could get out in the Southern Ocean, get on the wheel and have his 4-hour blast while he's on watch, and then he could go below and just completely switch off and let all the other guys stuff around with the boat, and then come back again. But he couldn't do that with the GGR, and he was really longing for that. When I told him about a month before he got to the finish, I said, okay, Tapio, start the dream machine going. We're going to do a Whitbread retake. And he just went off his tree, for exactly what you're saying, the people on the boat and the fun of the stopovers and so on. So I'm quite confident it's going to be a lot of fun, but I'm not doing I'm meant to be asking you questions. So what about yourself?
I also think that there's a lot of very, very interesting entrants. Some really cool people signed up. And I think that's going to make this edition incredible, because I feel that what made the 2018 Golden Globe race so special was also the characters in the race. And when I look at the list of people that signed up for the 2023 Ocean Globe, I think it'll be just as good as the 2018 Golden Globe race.
Oh yeah, it'll be quite powerful for exactly those reasons, because they're all owner boats. The world hasn't seen anything like this for 30 years, because the guys own their boats. They'll have real characters, with crew and all that stuff. There'll be all the stories coming from the crew and all those sorts of things. And you get guys like Alan. He's just crazy, that wants to get out there and do it. So what's your fun aspect, Alan? I don't want to delve too much because you're on in 2 weeks, but what's the fun part for you?
What, of doing the OGR?
Yeah.
It's just something that I've never done in my life before. It's just I'm a lifelong adventurer, and this is a new adventure. So it's whereas a lot of people are seasoned ocean sailors, for me this is something very, very difficult and very challenging, and something that yeah, I remember for the rest of my life, basically. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why it's called the adventure class.
Sorry?
Sorry?
I guess that's why it's called the adventure class. I know that's not why it's really called the adventure class, but I think the smaller boats will have the most adventure or the best adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to say, it was sad to lose a couple of boats because of the pandemic, but we've got 8 entrants there, and we had a few people when it got to 10, they said, oh, that's it, it's all over, and so now we'll start telling the world, oh, look, okay, it's this is the situation, and the reality is, anyone on the wait list initially, they've got a good chance of getting there, and in 2 years out, which is the end of next year, we drop all the numbers on the classes and we just fill the race up with 34 boats. So there's still a chance to even get more into adventure class. So I say to anyone watching, if you're up for it, let us know, and you never know what can happen. We can still have a look at getting you in, So that's cool. Okay, Alan. So how many crew are you going to have in the race, Alan, and how are you going to fund it? Like, as in, because I think I'll get to the point you're going to have paying crew, right?
Well, at the moment, I'm using up all of my money until that's gone. And well, I mean, everyone told me you should be looking for sponsors and everything, but I've got stuff to do. So rather than wait for the sponsors, I'd rather get the boat ready, get sailing. And the idea at the moment for me is to have a max of 12 crew, including me. We had 9 going across to the Azores and back in January. And that actually worked well. A lot of people think the 55 is a bit too tight for that. But actually, because of the way you organize the watch systems, actually, there's plenty of room. So, but the thing I'm telling people is that really I'm looking for crew that come all the way round with me, in the same way as the old days of the Whitbread, where you didn't have people jumping on and off. You had somebody that... like me, who says, right, I'm putting the crew together and you lot are coming around the world with me. So
that's the best. I take my hat off to you for that, because to me, that's the essence of the race. But the world being what it is these days, instant gratification, and no one's got time and all that sort of stuff, we allow the opportunity to swap crew. But I think if you have a boat full of people that are going to go all the way around, they're going to have a hell of an adventure,
Absolutely. Having seen the original Whitbread films, that inspired me, that really the idea of somebody jumping off at Cape Town, why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't you want to stay on? So even though Cape Town's a beautiful place, but the idea that they actually stay with you the whole way around, that's what I'm aiming for. But it'll be tricky, because a lot of people, I don't know about Gerrit, but a lot of people said, well, I've only got 4 weeks. What can I do in 4 weeks? I'm like, don't waste my time. Yeah,
exactly.
You can do nothing in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
6 months.
Yeah. I know.
That's right.
And somebody else.
We need to create an incentive. We must have a rounders class. Any boat that carries their crew, or carries 70% of their crew all the way round, they'll be up for a rounders trophy or something like that. Because that is the essence of it in my mind as well.
That sounds good.
I don't know. It's just an idea. Don't quote me, but we'll think of something.
I'm looking forward to a trophy. Yeah, I don't know about Gerrit.
We're just nattering on, but one of the obscure things I'll never forget, because I watched the start of the first race, a long time ago, and that was just the norm. The family on the boat, putting the washing out on the rail and all that sort of stuff at the starts. And when we were looking at forming the rules for the OGR, I was talking to Barry. I said, Barry, we should make it compulsory that you got to have some washing on the rail when you cross the start line, just for fun. But it was poo-pooed, so we didn't get that far. I didn't want to blow the credibility too quick. Anyway, so listen, I'm interested. We'll start winding this down, but I'm interested in your guys' opinion on what you think about the classic challenge, the Whitbread Volvo 60s and Maxis, mixing it in. Like, they're sailing a different course, and they're racing for a different trophy. They're not mixed. But we made the decision on the basis that, I got lobbied for a long time, and in the end I folded and said, okay, because we spoke to a few people, some media and some entrants and so on, and the idea was it brings the whole history of the Whitbread before it rolled over to the Volvo. And just interested in what you think, what your honest opinion of that was at the time.
Well, I think it's great because the bigger the race, the better. It'll attract more. It'll attract a much bigger and wider audience because I'm not 100% sure, but I think that a lot of the people that watch the America's Cup and the Volvo Ocean Race and the Vendée, they are maybe a lot more interested in sailing as a sport as opposed to sailing as an adventure first activity.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I think by including the classic challenge, you are engaging with that audience as well, or at least a portion of that audience. And so I think it'll make the race a much bigger event than if it was just boats between 46 and 60 feet or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Alan?
Well, as I said to you in Dusseldorf about this, in the beginning, I thought that the Classic Challenge seemed like it should have just been a different race, but having spoken to you about that, Gerrit's absolutely right. The more the merrier, really. I was only concerned from a personal point of view that it might dilute our offering, that people would only be interested in the maxis. And we're the kind of, although a 55 looks nice, when you put it next to a maxi, everybody's looking, it's all the, shiny and big and, but really, you're right. It is a different race. And if we're all running together and it, increases the awareness of ocean racing for everyone, as opposed to the elite teams, then fantastic. Yeah, I'm all in.
They still got to be amateur crews and all that sort of stuff. And the reality is that we've still got the same. It's all the same start line, same thing. So it's a bit of a spectacle. And the race village will show the history again as well. So in the race village, we'll have 30, 34 boats, and there'll be all the generations of boats. So people come down and see a maxi. I spoke to a guy a couple of weeks ago, just 2 weeks ago, who's told me he's going out to buy a particular maxi just to do the race. And if he does, it'll look really cool. Like there's going to be a good mix of boats and a fantastic feeling with people. So, I mean, it's early days yet, but it's going to be a bit of fun. But I'm biased, as you can imagine. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to get you to bugger off first, Alan, because you'll be on next week. Not next week, 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
2 weeks.
On the 22nd.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully
so
live from the boat. Hopefully,
exactly.
If we get there.
Yeah. So that's cool. So thanks for coming up now. We'll see you in 2 weeks, eh?
Okay. Thanks very much. Cheers, Don. Cheers, Gerrit.
Yeah. Bye. Yeah. So I was interested to hear your opinion on the Classic Challenge. So okay. So there must be something you'd like to tell the 3 people that are watching, or the 4 people, but they'll watch it and record. It's funny, that we're slowly going to build the social content for OGR, and the numbers will slowly start building. But we're a long way out from the race. We're 3 years out yet, eh? More than that.
Well, I'm just plugging in my computer quickly.
Oh, plugging it in. Battery's flat.
Can you hear me, Don?
Yeah, I've got you. Yeah, I've got you.
I don't want to switch off. Sorry, what was your question?
So what would you like to say? We got a few more minutes to natter on. What's your something you want to talk about your campaign? You must have something you want to tell people.
No. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a lot of fun.
I thought you said you didn't have anything to say.
I have lots to say. I can start by saying I think it's going to be lots of fun. I think there's going to be lots of different ways of engaging with the race, either just following the race or joining boats, or if there's people with boats that can't do the race, they might see a way in. So I think it's a race that's going to include a lot of people that would have otherwise not had an opportunity to do something like this. So,
yeah, absolutely.
I think that's one of the main selling points of the Ocean Globe. And another thing that I really appreciate about the Ocean Globe is the fact that it's a lot more affordable. I won't say it's affordable, but it's a lot more affordable than doing any other race of this class. It's really a working man's race, so to say, or amateur race would be the best way to say it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's still everything you do costs money, but you're right. It's back to the way I've been around for a long time. I'm older than you, but it's the way it used to be. There used to be people putting boats together and finding crew and getting out there and not going. It wasn't just money and scope. So yeah, we're excited about it. Jane and I are quite quite happy to be organising this, and it's looking good. I mean, we're very comfortable. Everything is very positive right now, so it's a good feeling. Okay, so that's good. I'll probably be coming down to Cape Town sometime.
Sorry,
You know,
are you
maybe
still there?
yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, I just couldn't hear you for a little while.
Oh, okay, yeah. Anyway, so I look forward to catching up
Yeah,
when I
you
come
say
to
you're
Cape
going.
Town.
You're saying you're coming to Cape Town.
Yes,
Yeah, I'll definitely see you in Cape Town.
sometime next year. David went down to talk there, prior the virus, but I'll
I
probably.
met David when he was here.
Yeah. Well, Dave, we've had to get
Yeah, I
David
had coffee
slowed
with
down.
David.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, all good. So good luck with selling
Okay,
your boat. Hey, good luck with selling your boat, and I hope you
Thanks.
find a beautiful Swan or a Baltic or a Nicholson or whatever. And we look forward to hearing more.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll find something really nice.
Yeah, it sounds good. All right. Good to
Okay.
chat. We'll catch you. We'll probably do it again
likewise.
when they've all rolled through or something. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, that sounds great. Thanks, Don.
No worries. See you later.
Cool.
Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Okay, so that's it for me. That's the first one, and thanks for watching and listening in. I could have asked some questions. Jeepers, there are some questions. They were hiding. Only one. Okay. Gurav again. G'day, Gurav. Gurav's a GGR entrant. Anyway, but I know he wants to do OGR as well with an Indian or Canadian entry. So fingers crossed. Good luck, Gurav. Okay, so thanks a lot, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, and I'll give you an update then, and we'll see how it goes. Bye-bye.